I have 39 years in the industry, so I've been kind of a veteran of doing these kind of things. Was with Newmont for quite a bit, been on my own, worked with Rob McEwen at US Gold, so I consider myself somewhat weathered in this industry. We'll just dive right in because we've got a lot to talk about. Okay, forward-looking statement, we know that. Investment highlights, we acquired the Madison high-grade copper gold project, which it's interesting because it's now got a silver component as well that Rio Tinto is testing out this year. They cut into some veins while trenching, and they got multiple 100 grams of silver and gold. So that's one of their targets as well. So all of our projects do have silver in them. But we have just concentrated mainly on grade, copper, gold, silver throughout the Western U.S. Right now we have 81 million shares out, 3.5 million in the bank. We've taken on a strategic investor in the last month or so. So we're kind of moving along. We've got money coming in, so it looks like we're going to take some of that money and start to explore our silver project out in Western Nevada with that money. Madison Copper we'll go into real quickly. Main focus on Madison is the grade. When you see 20% to 35% copper and 16 grams gold, you immediately gain interest in the project. It has tremendous potential. It has very, very high grades, at least at the surface. And that's what drew Rio Tinto in to start off with, I believe. That and the chance that being on the same structural trend as the Butte mine, which is about 40 miles or so to the north of us, really excites them as the potential of a very large deposit. They wouldn't be there if they didn't think they could make it really big. Right now, they have an exploration program going. They just got a drill on 3 weeks ago. They're drilling jasperoid massive sulfide mineralization, so relatively close to the surface, to try to get a handle on that, and they expand that off to many directions, to the south and to the west. The deep porphyry target, they haven't really tested it yet, but I think all of this drilling and all of the science they're putting together on this project will vector them into that particular type of mineralization. This one right here just shows historic high grades, 30 meters of 25 grams per ton, 64 meters of 7% copper. You start to see that it really does carry a lot of grade. I worked at the Fortitude deposit on several occasions and was the chief geologist when Newmont put Phoenix back into production in 2004. So I've seen a lot of material like this. And when I went underground and toured it in 2016, I was amazed with the similarities of the textures and how that mineralization lies in there. So it's got a lot of similarities to a 2.2 million ounce ore body that was mined out in the 80s by Battle Mountain. Location of this project is in Montana, south of Silver Star. As I mentioned, there's the Butte pit. So it's in a very mining friendly area. A lot of exploration going on up there right now. Golden Sunlight, which is Barrick's mothballed mine, is just up the street as well. So it's not like we're in a place where we can't permit. We have our water permits, our water discharge permits, and our small mining permits are all in place. So it's a good place to be. Historic mining district as well. Quickly, the Kennecott has need to spend $30 million in over 11 years and generate 70% interest. So I'll leave 30% for us. Having 30% of a real size target obviously is good for investors. And good for the industry as well. So they're outspending that, and they've spent $4 million thus far in 2 years. This is their third campaign. Their first round of this year's drilling is supposed to be at about $2 million. That's the phase one. This is in here, right, just so you can get onto our website. We did a drone footage. Usually I'm not a big fan of this kind of thing, but this one's actually quite nice. It shows the magnitude of the property. It's about 5,200 acres, so a little bit over 4 square miles. And most of the known mineralization is on our property. So it's a key piece to Kennecott as they try to put the package together. Over the winter time, they relogged all the holes from past companies, Broadway, there's Coronado, there's several companies that have had a whack here. And they really came up with a good geologic interpretation, I think, of the jasperoids, as you can see. And hypothetically, there's a massive sulfide that they're going to drill into as well. So we have 4 targets. There's only 3 on here, but the 4th one is that vein set that I just mentioned, the high silver, high gold, had visible gold in the vein. So it's a It's very exciting when the geologist sees those kind of textures. This is, they're right now doing a mag survey, so we're using drone to perfect this. This is a little bit globular, if you can look at. This was done by Broadway in 2017, so the predecessor company. It's a shows where the targets are. The hot colors being the magnetic, the colder colors not so much. The Ajax mine and Hudson mine, those are all mines that have been in production in the past. Broadway mine was mined for 144,000 ounces of gold back in the mid 1900s. So it's got a history. Once again, this is on our website. It's a 3D model. We update it every time we get a chance with new holes and new surface data. So it's worth spinning around. It's animated and everything, but it's about 6 minutes if you choose to go have a look at it. In 2017, Rio was introduced to this slide and to these rocks. They saw what they wanted from a textural standpoint, especially. The rocks here there's 5 porphyritic units here, which is kind of what you need to make a porphyritic system. You've got to have multiple pulses. The latite porphyry was certainly intriguing to them, and this is the rock right here. Marble on the left side with sulfides in contact, very folded, very beaten up. Rock on the right is the latite. It's sphelically altered, which means that even though it's the latest porphyritic rock that we see, it's also altered quite nicely. So it's that's intriguing to them and intriguing to me. That means there's something else down there pushing it around. This is probably my favorite slide because it shows the different kinds of mineralization you can have in this system. Jasperoid ore, I've seen a lot of that working on the Carlin Trent for so long. And the jasper ore, it never ran very much. This runs half an ounce, so it's by far the richest jasperoid ore I've ever seen in the world. Native copper, of course, accounts for some of that high grade. And then the massive sulfide skarn that you see over here on the right side, at the Phoenix deposit, that would have been pretty much waste rock. Here it runs 0.67 ounce per ton and 11 ounce copper. So there's just about no kind of rock out here in this system that can't be ore. Typical oxide ore from what was mined from the Broadway, but this is core from last year from Kennecott. So you can see that it runs pretty good. The average ore from the historic mining was 9 grams per ton. Jasperoid on the right, oxidized skarn. The old timers focused just on oxide because the sulfide would mess up their process. Okay, we'll move on over to the Gooseberry Silver and Gold project. Staked this 2 years ago. It's a past producer with some really monster silver grades and some pretty good gold grades too. It's been out of commission since 1991. The company went broke, and when they went broke, they moved up and packed off. And then so we picked it up for staking costs. We walked in and just staked this up, which was kind of a coup for us because this is what we're going to focus a lot of our work on this year. We have a 15-hole program designed already, and it's in permitting process right now. So we're in the process of trying to get rigs lined up because it's such a boom right now with all of the drilling and production and everything else that it's hard to find equipment. It has a 1,450-foot shaft, 2 shafts actually that go down that deep. Was never tested below 1,300, and then it was just sparsely tested. It was never mined below 1,100. So it's in the Comstock area. It's in the Comstock-Ramsey district, and we all know the Comstock Lobe is quite a haul. 8 million ounces of gold and about 700 million ounces of silver. This is the same rocks, the same type, same age. So this right here enthuses us we're going to drill deep. We're going to drill laterally because this is a diamond in the rough as far as we're concerned. Here's some of the grades that you can see here. 3,700 grams per ton silver, 400 grams per ton silver, 1,200 grams per ton silver, 4,600 grams per ton silver. Those are pretty good grades within this. That's not obviously the average, but that's a pretty good haul. You know why they were what they were running at before they went bankrupt. Pretty good grades. Typical. There's a little bit of copper in the system, but on the right, that's pretty much what the ore looks like. Quite simple. Calcite being replaced by quartz, and that's when the gold and the silver were dumped out into the veins. This is just looking at the vein perpendicular. We managed to get all the data from University of Nevada, Reno, and we put it into 3D. So now we're targeting the drill programs around it. You can see to the left, which is the west, high grades that were never mined. Off to the right, high grades that were never mined. That's to the east. So those are targets of our drilling this year. We consider it very poorly tested. Here you can see what was mined out in the past. The dark pink is the void left from what they mined. All the light pink that you see in there is material that was drilled out and ready to mine that they just went broke before they ever got to it. So we know there's ore down there already to find. This Tuscarora project is mainly gold, but as you move to the silver, or to the south and to the north, you get into a silver-rich zone. It was mainly a silver mine back in the day. It was Tuscarora had 5,000 people once upon a time in 3 mills, mainly mining silver. Our portion is, as you move to the south, is mainly gold, but as you go to the north, we get to more of 70-30 electric, quite silver-rich at the northern part of our property. Located in Elko County, so it's pretty close to where I live, in a very mining-friendly area. Some of the grades, you can see there's pretty splashy grades in the gold. So that's part of just one vein set. There are 12 that run through the district there that we haven't tested all of yet. Where they were exposed at the surface, they were mined. Where they went underneath the gravel, they were lost. And that's what we have mostly covered area with, like between 0 and 300 feet of gravel, and some pretty good grades there. Here you can see the projection of the majority of these veins. This is one of the reasons I came to American Pacific, was the potential of this ore body. We started the company with this. You can see East Pediment, South Navajo are the only ones tested within our property, and the rest of them really haven't seen a lot of activity. So we've got a lot to do, got good geophysics that we've done on it. We have 8 targets, and right now the property's in limbo as we figure out what we're going to do with it ourselves. Are we going to drill it? Are we going to JV it? Milestones here, we pretty much have checked most of the boxes. Acquisition of the Madison Copper project clearly was something that put us in the limelight a bit. We've had good success with Rio Tinto in the conversation with them. They keep us in the loop. They send us a weekly report, so we know what they're doing. They've been a great JV partner. That's pretty much it for American Pacific. The guys here, just run right quickly. Warwick, Eric, Alnesh, Ken, and Jonas, we're all pretty seasoned veterans. So I think we have a really strong management team on top of that as well. I think we're moving in the right direction. I see growth in the company. Here's our investor relations lady that you can call. This is all on the website as well. Actually, there's a little bit more of an elaborate presentation on the website.